Now, only a few years back, the heat really started to come on the farming of animals versus plants, and this wave of environmental terrorism without appreciating the New Zealand difference of our farming systems. New Zealand red meat and dairy farmers have become very outraged at the claims on their respect that they have about our environment and animal welfare, farming in a goldfish bowl under extreme pressure. But what has emerged has been opportunity. Like any good crisis, we shouldn't waste it. Farmers grow to the market. If they want red kiwi fruit, we'll grow it. If they want lactose-free cow's milk, we'll work out how to process it. If they want finer wool suits, we'll work that out too. That's just the Kiwi way. But it's how a free market works, and of course the demand for new pulses such as oat milk and quinoa is of course the new trend. How can you get involved in this in your business? Joining us now is Susan Goodfellow from Leftfield Innovation. Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks, Sarah. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Oh, I've been looking for the opportunity to bring you on. Myself and Susan have some very good, robust discussions about the industry off air over some cups of coffee at Robert Harris here in Lincoln. Now, super excited to see this report come through. Our Land, Our Water Science Challenge is pumping out some very, very good content. Now, 6 rockstar crops have been identified and how farmers can use them to diversify their business into more a multi-land use situation. How did the entire report come about and your involvement as an organisation in that challenge?
Sure. Well, look, it's a little bit of a story. We met with some farmers in central Canterbury probably nearer 2 years ago, and we were looking at, diversifying land use opportunities, particularly in relation to the new water coming on through Central Plains. And a lot of the farmers were saying, well, can you look at things that we can grow that we know how to grow, something that's de-risked, we know how to do it. So we took that idea away and thought, well, look, let's take a look at some near-term opportunities for value, things we know we can grow, things we know we have food processing capability to turn from raw materials into high value, and things that we know the market potentially will want. So we did an initial near-term opportunities value study that identified a range of grains, pulses, vegetables and plant oils. And from that, the specialty grains and pulses opportunity was identified by our Land and Water National Science Challenge Next Generation team. And they contacted us to look at working with some Central Plains farmers and taking that forward and doing a deeper dive to really understand what this opportunity looked like.
What I love, we're operating and broadcasting here out of Blink Innovation on the Lincoln University campus, and the innovation of new ideas is incredible. And in this type of environment, Susan, is not only just what else can we plant, but how can we build this into a biodiversity ecosystem of our farm, which can sort of uptake nitrogen and be a part of an overall ecosystem. Is that a lot of what this report is as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about, we tested the farmers and their appetite for the future farm system and what that looked like. Now, we've since undertaken that conversation with other farmers as well. And it's pretty clear the future looks like a diverse mixed farm system where the plants and animals work together to really enhance, the outcomes, ensure the soil qualities enhanced and preserved. So I think that farmers are seeing they're able to look at their land, look at their soil types and look at what's most suitable across that landscape for growing different things. And really the different things need to be market-led, which really brings us into the important conversation about making sure it's not what you can grow. There's lots of things we can grow, but making sure there's a market there, a secure market, and working back from that point.
Absolutely, because there's no point growing it if they don't want it. Now, some of these things are about, say, buckwheat or GE-free soybeans and chickpeas. How have some of these gone down with potential markets?
Well, that's a good question, and we undertook quite a reasonably detailed market insight study within New Zealand as a first step. The larger manufacturers and retail outlets were not so keen. It's very price driven. but you get down to the more gourmet, smaller format operators, and they're really, really keen on New Zealand grown, can't get their hands on any GE-free soy, and would love to see more of that available for their customers. So I think there is a real opportunity. We need to dig deeper and really start to look at what we transform that raw material into in terms of the high-value food products that the consumers want, the format and function of those food products. We did get quite a bit of feedback. It's definitely, they want low processed. They don't want highly processed food, really great snack options for adults and kids, and the ready to use meal options as well. So we've got some really cool leads around opportunities, and we're now able to we are working with some food companies to develop those ideas.
And you've got a farm grower group. How are the farmers been in supporting these new concepts? They're embracing them?
Yeah, look, it's a Future Grains Grower Group, and it's spread across Canterbury and mid-Canterbury. And look, they're really excited to see what's coming through, particularly around some of the plant varieties that we've brought in from overseas and we're trialling here to create some of those innovative food products. So they can't wait to get their hands on some of that seed and really get underway and grow. And I think the key thing with the farmers is they realise that how they grow the product, how they grow the crop is critically important, because it's about providing that authentic, data-driven traceability, transparency story to the consumer. And that sort of led into the work around creating an app to ensure the consumer has that ability to see where the food's come from, how it's been grown, the nutritional content, and all sorts of other things like that. So the farmers are super excited to be involved.
Now, Susan, before you go, I know that you're extremely passionate about this particular topic, but do you think that this government over the past 3 years has actually started to appreciate that increased water storage and the improvement of irrigation doesn't necessarily mean an intensification and expansion of dairy?
I think it's starting to become appreciated, and I'm currently working with my team for the Wakamoka Community Water Storage Scheme proposed for the Wairarapa, and the work we're doing with the team up there is all about sustainable land use and what opportunities are there under new reliable water. And so I think there's some really clear work being done to demonstrate that, and so that story is becoming available and the actions are there to prove it. So I think people are becoming more aware, and it's difficult to avoid really being able to address water storage for community use, including industry, drinking water, agriculture, food and fibre production, and environmental flows. When we're looking at what's happening in central North Island around the drought, we must do something about this, but we must do it in the right way for all of the stakeholders.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. This is Susan Goodfellow from Leftfield Innovation, and that's of course the Our Land, Our Water report out today around these specialty pulses and grains and how we can harness that value opportunity for our consumers searching for that New Zealand difference that we do so well.
This is Sarah's Country.